I've got spare parts from my last broken heart. Somehow more than what I had to start. Yeah, I've got spare parts. I tried to fix it best I remembered it. I hope it runs when I fire it up, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be a perfect fit, 'cause I got spare parts. Took a piece of you, like lovers often do. I'll try to make it good as new, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare parts. What's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing this fine evening? It is Tuesday, October 1st, 2024. I am one of your hosts, Blaze Man, and welcome to The Way We See It with my boy to my right, your left, the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. B. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
How are we doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. My mom is settling in well at her new home, meaning Mayans, and my wife's Miss Tammy, which you all know, lovely Miss Tammy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we started a little bit late tonight because like I spoke to you a few times on the phone, B.
Of
We're
course.
trying to, we're getting used to a schedule and how everything works out there, but she is absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely love that she's here with us, and she's just getting spoiled. You know what I mean?
Which is what should happen with a parent. Parents and
Absolutely.
children should spend as much time as they possibly can together
Hey, look.
because we
Hey,
all
listen.
know.
Right. Hey, listen. She had to hold me up so I wouldn't drown in the tub when I was a baby,
Yep.
and I do it for her now. Okay. She used to have to roll me over to change a diaper. You know what I mean? But my mother is not that way at all. Okay. She's 93 and in I'd say 80% help. And it's her legs that bother her the most,
Uh,
so it's tough for her to get around.
yeah, it's
So
understandable.
yeah. Anyway, so that's what's new that's going on with me, because the way we see it hasn't been on for at least a month. And what's going on with you, B? I know that I'm sure that we got some viewers that are on right now that catch politicking with Mr. B.
There
But
have been some incredible things that have been going on. We've talked about whatever, and I did get some information that came through uh, just very recently that you and I can discuss. I don't want to make any announcements publicly now, but I've got some information that's come through, and you and I can discuss later on after the show that I know that you're going to get a jolt out of. I
oh,
know
so you got some new news for me
I've
besides the
yeah,
news that you gave me earlier, right?
absolutely.
Because we got FFN Network has an exclusive video with politicking with Mr. B,
Yep.
out there out there in one of the WalMarts, and got a perspective from one of New Hampshire's voters on how they feel about what's going on with the economy and the shipping docks closing down and all of that stuff like that.
Well,
Um,
it's more than just being a person from New Hampshire or a voter. This is just a general more the interest of the general citizenry. This is what the people need to know and understand and are looking at, and we're looking down the barrel of.
right.
You know, 45,000 dock workers decide that they're going to step out and go on strike, and I understand they have legitimate claims and reason to do it. But the American people, until it seems like until something actively affects them in their lives, they don't seem to grasp what's coming at them. So the American people are going to they are very quickly going to get a taste of what is coming down the pike and how this is going to affect them. And it's not going to be a pleasant taste in their mouth. All that
Absolutely.
having been said, do you have the video in the queue set up?
Oh yes, of course. If that's something that you want to do, yeah, we could throw the exclusive up now, and we can certainly discuss it. B,
Well, before
absolutely.
we do that, 508-974-4231. We're going to play this video, ladies and gentlemen, and I'd like for you to call us and tell us what your take is on the situation. Again, all the way from the eastern seaboard, from Maine all the way down to the far tip of Florida, anything that hasn't been flooded out or taken out by the finger of God is going on strike. As of midnight or 12 o'clock this morning, every dock is now closed. Nothing is coming in or going out through our ports.
Right. Hey B, when you get a chance, turn up your microphone volume if you can.
All right.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly. And the other thing that's been floating around in my head too, B, is like, conspiracy, right? Because you know me. But isn't it funny that all of a sudden, the elections are coming up, right? And Democrats are like 150% for unions and all of that stuff like that. The elections are right around the corner, and all of a sudden, you got Bowen, right? Now you got the docks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're all striking. The postal service had they called it a march, but I think it was preparation for them to go on
Yeah.
strike.
Yeah.
You know?
There are an awful lot of things, and I watched an interview with Martha McCallum on Fox News. It was interviewing someone from within the Harris Waltz campaign or whatever, talking about things, and they asked her. She asked directly, "Does Kamala Harris stand with and on the side of the dock workers? Does she stand with the unions?" And the man talked around in circles about this, around that, and then started saying, "Well, Donald Trump does this, and Donald Trump does this." Okay, I'm not asking about Donald Trump. She said, "I'm asking a direct question, and you didn't answer." She says, "I'll ask you again." And is Kamala Harris with in favor of or against the dock workers? And again, he started talking in circles and then saying Donald Trump did this, Donald Trump did that, blah blah blah, Donald Trump. For the third time, she said, "You know, I don't know why you're not answering. It is a straight question. I want a straight answer. Is Kamala Harris, or does she support the dock workers, or is she against them?" And again, exactly the same BS.
Thing, no answer, right?
Around, no, a runaround non-answer.
Right. Unbelievable. So, can you give us a tiny bit of feedback here, B, on what our viewers are about to see here with this
What
exclusive?
we have a lady who is just a general citizen. I just walked up to a general citizen, a person I have never known before. I will probably never see again. Uh, went to the Walmart shopping center in Epping, New Hampshire, which I rarely go there. But this is a person that I have never met before, and I asked her if she would mind being interviewed and appearing for the podcast. She says, "No, I don't have a problem with that." And I asked her about her shopping experience, and she did tell me that she what she was doing, and that she had indeed had in mind getting more things than ordinary to be able to stock up on things, because she knows the shortages are going to be coming, and there's there's a lot
As my lovely
further
wife,
information.
everybody. If everybody's like, "Hey, who's that lady in the back?" I apologize. We had to move the studio around. My mom moved in, and I apologize for some of the motion in the background. B, I apologize.
Life,
Continue.
and this is life. Don't worry about it, Blaze. Everybody knows what life is.
Okay, pal. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and roll that video, I'd love for the people to see and hear. Don't take my word for it. Listen to
Yeah,
America.
yeah, exactly. Listen to America. Listen to the average folk on the street. Listen to the average folk that just came out of Walmart, where everybody in the free world thinks it's a goddamn a place to go for everything cheap. Trust me, they're not cheap anymore. And Target is the same thing. They're just an overpriced Walmart like they've always been. So without further ado, let's listen to the common folk. Great job, by the way, B.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. Walking down the street.
Mr. B here. I'm in Epping, New Hampshire on special location to have an interview with this young lady, Terry, here. We're going to be asking a couple of questions about what's going on with the situation in the United States of America with the dock workers, and if that has at all influenced this lady's shopping practice. Hey, lady, tell us. I see you've got a number of bags and packages and so forth. Have you been shopping anything more in consideration of what's going on with the shutdown?
Yeah, actually, I am. I saw the news this morning, and I'm like, as far as produce and all that stuff that's going to shut down, there's not a whole lot we're going to be able to do about that. But packaged goods, toilet paper, clothes, anything like that, I kind of just picked up a couple extra things that I can kind of put in storage just in case this gets out of hand.
Right. Of course, things that are perishable, like your produce, your tomatoes, your bananas, and so forth, you can only buy so many of those.
Exactly.
They're not going to last. And even if you can or freeze certain things, you've only got so much that you can do with that. How long do you think you've been in the United States for a few years? I'm sure.
I'm sure.
How long do you think that something like this is going to go on before something positive happens from all of it?
I'm hoping that it gets taken care of in the next week or two. I was listening to some of their problems of what's going on. I don't think some of them are totally outrageous on their half.
Right.
I mean, mind you, we're all looking at what's going to happen to us.
Right.
But looking on their hands, some of the, wanting to get taken over by, some of the automatic stuff, I can see their concerns. This is their livelihood. So I was kind of stuck in the middle. Obviously, I think this is, demanding, do they go get more money for, 50% of their pay and everything? I think it's a little ridiculous, but maybe they can come down and both sides kind of get to a happy medium and make a deal.
I'm going to throw a question out here that I'm fairly certain, ladies and gentlemen, nobody has really considered this, or a lot of people haven't considered this. I'm sure you realize that every time you go to the gas pump, you're pumping up gasoline that's come from someplace else. A lot of people don't realize that it comes through ports.
Exactly. Where are they going to come into?
This being in mind, do you have a viable means of storing up more than maybe a couple of gallons of gasoline? Most people don't.
I do, only because we own a landscape business and we've got some tanks that used to go in the back of the truck, but still, it only takes you so long.
Right.
Gas cans and that kind of thing, and then you leave it too long, it's not stable, and yeah, and the most people that don't have those kind of means are just going to feel it at the pump, and then more.
Yeah. And then if we're lucky, there's going to be just lines. It's not going to be days without, because the only means of getting it, besides getting it in through a dock port, is by truck. And that's going to take a heck of a long time.
It's going to, because everything is on the East Coast is all, even far as Texas is involved. So we're going to try to get gas from the West Coast all the way over to this way. It's going to be a big problem.
Right. Now, one last question. Do you have anything at all that you would want to say to your fellow Americans about behavior and the ideas of hoarding and grabbing too much and not leaving enough for others?
I know we went through the same thing with COVID.
Yeah.
You couldn't find toilet paper anywhere. People, little on your shelves. Let's share the wealth so everybody can function and try to get through this.
God bless you. Thank you very much, Terry. I'm Mr. B here in Epping, New Hampshire at the Walmart, and we'll be back on FFN momentarily. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Fantastic job, B.
Thank you. There you have it, folks. It's not me. Don't listen to me. Take whatever I say with a grain of salt, but this is America that is speaking to you. This is a general American citizen who is, by all means, disinterested party who can see the writing on the wall and knows what's going on and what we're facing.
Right. Exactly. I agree. I agree 100%. I do.
I had written something on social media earlier today about this situation. Oh.
Hey, caller, you're on the air with The Way We See It right here on the FFN network. What's happening tonight? Hello, caller.
Hey, how's it
going?
Hello,
caller.
It's going well. Where are you calling from?
Fall River, Massachusetts.
All right, cool. What's your question?
I'm not too sure. I wasn't listening to the show at the moment.
Okay.
Oh, so he wasn't listening. He wasn't listening to the show, ladies and gentlemen, but decided to just call the show for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Hey, well, okay. While we have this gentleman on the phone, let's ask him what his take is on what is happening with the dock workers. I don't know if they're called longshoremen or what they're called, but the ones that are on strike that, if indeed left in place, could wind up crippling the United States.
Jesus Christ. I didn't know that.
All right, so he's misinformed. So maybe when he hangs up, he'll turn the show on and get informed of what's happening. Then maybe call back with an opinion. But thanks for the call, caller. The other line is open, so you can give that one a buzz. Thank you for buzzing in.
Have a good one, guys.
You as well.
Okay, so that was a dead end call. So again, getting back to longshoremen or whatever it is, what's the figure on how many are on strike right now? Is it what, 30,000?
45,000 men and women.
Yeah, and women.
Men and women.
and disabled.
Let's
I
just say
seen
work.
I seen a guy getting interviewed that works for the company. So, and he was disabled in a
If
wheelchair.
you have a handicap, so what? If you have a means of working, if you can do something and be productive, then by all means, so be it. Every person that is capable of doing something has some form of use and can have a purpose. Doesn't matter if you're missing a limb or an eye or something of that nature.
Right.
If you've got a talent, if I run the Fuzzwort Corporation and I manufacture Fuzzworts, and I want to hire somebody, and I don't care if they're missing 3 fingers on one hand or whatever. Do you have the talent or something that can help us to make Fuzzworts and then make the company grow and be successful? Yes or no? Same sort of thing. If you're a dock worker, if you're in a wheelchair, I'm sure there are some sort of other positions, perhaps supervisory, administrative,
Yeah, of
or
course, B. Yeah, we don't got to get
an
crazy.
expediter type thing.
Yeah, we don't got to
for the
get
person.
crazy and in depth and all of that, B. You know what I mean? But 45,000 men and women. And look, nobody gets their goods. So everything that's coming overseas in those areas, because from what I understand, all the longshoremen that are going on strike are all on the East Coast side.
All the
And
coast,
so,
north to south, Maine
like I
all the way down to Florida, and
like
even over into the Gulf, over into Texas.
yes, like I said, the entire East Side.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know. Anyways, California, whatever. I don't know what the unions out there are up to. But again, look, what would you say the percentage of goods that we get that come into the country overseas?
Anytime you've got a package that said "made in blah blah," if it's in Peru,
China,
if it's in
Taiwan,
China,
let's just
Taiwan,
say it the
yeah,
way it is,
right,
B.
right, whatever it is, if it's made
So
in a different
companies like
country, it's coming in through a port.
exactly. So companies like fucking Walmart and shit like that, they're shit out of luck because there ain't a goddamn thing you can't grab in that store that doesn't say made in Taiwan or China. So their good situation's gonna go
Especially
to
here in the
shit.
United States anymore. The good part about it, this is that at least
Well, there ain't no good
many
part about it.
of our staple foodstuffs are still here in the United States. But I mean, people
Yeah.
have gotten used to going into a grocery store at any given time of the year and finding peaches and plums and oranges and whatever else now, because they're coming from several different sources around the world.
Right.
Now that's all gone.
Yeah, you're right.
That boat has sailed, and it is not coming to a port anywhere here on the eastern seaboard.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to talk about this a little more. And then we got some surprises for you because the Democratic Party just loves to cheat, ladies and gentlemen. Every chance that they get, they just love to cheat. And if you don't like it, you can always change the channel. I'm Blazeman, alongside me with my boy, Mr. B. Catch his show on Wednesday nights, Politicking with Mr. B from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on the FFN network. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around for more of The Way We See It right here on the FFN network. We'll be right back.
Well, I've got spare parts from my last broken heart. Somehow more than what I had to start. Yeah, I've got spare parts. I tried to fix it, best I remembered it. I hope it runs when I fire it up, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be a perfect fit, 'cause I got spare parts. He took a piece of you, like lovers often do. I'll try to make it good as new, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare parts. What's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare parts.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
Hey, everybody. Thanks for sticking around for more of The Way We See It in our second half hour. And we're here for 2 hours. So, yeah. So, look, the whole lawn showman. How should we pronounce that? The lawn. They're called
Longshoreman.
longshoreman.
Long as in shoreman.
Yeah, LONG, right?
Yeah, LONGSOH. Yeah, okay. Wow. Woo! New alphabet here, folks. Ouch. Right, okay. LONGSHOREMAN.
Longshoreman. Gotcha, B. Gotcha. You're right on point. Yeah, man. I mean, look, for real, that's going to disrupt like the entire eastern seaboard. You know what I mean?
Not just the eastern seaboard. It's going to disrupt a lot further in and even across America. There are things that come in here that go all the way out to the West Coast. And you know, it's not just docks by the ocean or wherever else. This is anything. This is ports that things fly into in the airport. This is ports that things that come across at border crossings. Everything.
Right.
Everything.
Right. It's going to disrupt everything. You know what I mean? And what's going to be to blame for it? Does anybody know what's going to? I mean, because because like I had said earlier, I mean, to me, it's just funny on how all of these big, huge companies, how many is Boeing on strike for? Another close to 40,000, right?
Yeah,
And I think it might even be higher than that.
it could very well be higher than that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, again, like I said, the entire Eastern Seaboard is going to be screwed. And again, whose fault it's going to be, right? Because the elections are right around the corner.
And they can't turn around and blame this on Donald Trump. They can't.
They'll find a
They
way.
have known about what was going on with here. The Biden and Harris administration has known and seen what's been going on with the union and the corporations and so
Hi,
forth that
Winnie. How
operate
you
things.
doing? Sorry, B. Hi,
No, it's
Winnie. How
better.
you doing? Thanks for joining the
Yes,
show.
Winnie. Hello. They have seen what's been going on all this time, and they've done nothing. They've done nothing to intervene, spoken not a word about it, turned a blind eye. And
Right.
now it's here. And
Right.
now it's going to be affecting every man, woman, and child in the United States. And how are they going to besides gloss over it? How are they going to deal with this? How are they going to explain it? They can't possibly take and pin this on something that Donald Trump did.
Right. 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 She says, Winnie says she's doing good. You all, we're doing fine over here, Winnie.
We're so
Winnie,
glad you're here with us, Winnie. Thank you very much for coming in.
we have a question, and maybe you either could call in or you could type it in for us. But we'd really like to hear from you tonight on what you think this strike and the longshoremen going on strike. It's close to 40,000 longshoremen.
It's
I mean,
over. So it's
there's
almost
not,
50,000.
yeah, and these docks are going to be closed down. So we would definitely love to hear from you tonight, Winnie. That's for sure. Um, the next thing that I would like to speak about over here, okay, is everybody remembers the presidential debate, right? No,
Oh yeah.
right. Everybody remembers it, right? You know,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
everybody remembers those beautiful pearl earrings that Kamala had in there, right?
right,
Okay.
right.
And then after that, there was like rumor, oh, you know, and there was a couple of them that I seen where they actually showed the company with these hearing devices, and it looked just like a
Yes.
pearl, right, and
Yeah.
all of that. So I see you nodding your head up and down, be like, you know, this is like nothing to go anywhere. So speak your mind.
Oh no, no, no.
Speak your
I'm,
mind.
I'm, I'm not being contradictory. Go ahead.
No, but speak your mind.
Oh no. Remember, I have a background that's been in the jewelry industry, a solid background for 41 years. I can honestly, absolutely, positively affirm these things exist.
Right. Right. They do.
These do exist.
Um, so anyways, you know, after the debate, of course, you know, you got conservatives or whatever, and they're like, you know, those that earring, it's not really a pearl earring, it's a listening device. And then of course you have the masses of leftists just come at you and screaming and yelling, oh, it's just, you know, why do you got to do that's the first thing, because she kicked his ass at the debate. Now all of a sudden she had a hearing device. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is also an exclusive. It's an exclusive for us. Some of you might have seen it already, but it's an exclusive for us. And this this for me is the smoking gun, you know. And
Okay.
you look surprised, B, because I haven't talked to
No,
you.
I'm
Yeah,
waiting,
I that
anxiously waiting with
well,
bated breath.
that's what I'm talking about. Is you haven't seen it either, so your excitement is just hopefully like our audiences, and you're
Absolutely.
like, what the hell's he gonna show? Well, I'm about to show all of you folks that she did indeed have a headset where she could hear somebody talking, okay? And um it's just so happens that it's pearl earrings, supposed to be. Check it out.
Yeah.
You think I'm kidding you? Watch this. It's
I
hilarious.
don't believe you're kidding me at all.
Look at this. Let's take a listen.
If you have time to do a wet brine, that's fine. And do it like a pot of water, a couple bay leaves, a little sugar, a little couple peppercorns. You could even do a little slice of orange, something like that.
Now, she is supposed to be doing an interview, okay? And she's, playing along. I guess they wanted her to read an episode. She might have been at a cooking show and taping the cooking show. I don't know. It doesn't really go into that firm. The person that did this is called Q. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so what you're about to see is them talking to her in the background. I mean, in her speaker.
Fine. And do it like a pot of water, a couple bay leaves, a little sugar, a little couple peppercorns. You could even do a little slice of orange, something like that. Oh, yes. Hi. Yes, I'm here. Okay. I'm going to talk about a recipe while you're checking. Is that okay? She'll tell me if I'm annoying her.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing? Hi. Okay. So, Nick, if you're doing...
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean,
Yeah.
listen here. I'm not joking around, and I'm not pulling on people's legs here. Okay, that blew your mind, didn't it, B?
I'm glad to see that that's there to the surface. Now let's see if we can keep it over the surface, or if the left is going to take and bury it and gloss over it, and
Well, it's an
whatever
exclusive
else.
now, B. It's not only an exclusive, but as I show it, it gets automatically recorded in the background. All our live shows get automatically recorded. So yes, we have it. You know what I mean? So if they try to take it off of YouTube or whatever, which they're probably gonna, you know what I mean? And we will still have it. So in our archives, you know what I mean? But I just find it absolutely like crazy that they have to cheat like that. That's why she kicked his ass, right? Because you remember when she was doing these things,
Yeah.
and looking at Trump like, you know what that was, right? That was the pause for them to stuff the information through the
Yeah,
speaker
of
for the
course.
next thing for her to say,
Of course.
and because she was giving him a look that beat him at the debate. I have to say, now that I know that she had that fake, not fake, but now that I know that she had a hearing device, so she can get information on hand by somebody who is 100 times smarter than she is, and it's got nothing to do with her being a woman, and it's got nothing to do with her being black, and it's got nothing to do with you're good, Debbie. I thought we were
That's all right.
doing.
I thought I had a little something there.
Anyways, and she's not none of those things. She's a smart woman, right? But she's not smart enough to be the president of the United States, right? And you already see that, they got the puppet strings on her. You
Oh,
know what I mean?
absolutely.
So, and it's like, it, it just makes me, it scares me a little bit, because again, she's not qualified to be the president of the United States, B. She's not, buddy.
You're 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 preaching to the choir here.
So what else does the choir have to say then,
The
B?
choir has to say this lady wouldn't know shit if she tasted it.
I B, man, we talked about this. I get all of that, B. I mean, we could, being nasty, I mean, come
I
on.
would love to see if somewhere somebody came up with a device that found whatever frequency those things were being transmitted on and somehow or another interrupted, broke into it, and started speaking gibberish and see what happens. I
Well,
would love to see that happen.
I agree. And the reason why she does sound like she's speaking gibberish sometimes is because they're feeding the info through the speaker, the headset on the ear, and she's trying to spew that out of her mouth at the same time. You know what I mean?
And maybe it doesn't come through quite exactly as if there's a bad connection or something or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, and that's why she cackles and laughs, to cover up the things sputtering and crackling.
Right, I got you. So let's listen to dock workers go on strike, forcing ports to close. Okay. Now, why do they have to put it like that? And this is from a conservative news source that I just picked this up from. Why? Why dock workers go on strike, forcing ports to close? They're not forcing anybody to close.
Well, it's
Well,
the truth though.
well,
It's
no. I just for me, it's just the wording, and that's how all of this shit starts with
I
the
know,
with
I
the
know. The
wording.
way that they were, yeah.
I mean, they're going
The
on
word
strike,
ports closed while strike continues. I can
right?
understand that. Yes.
Right,
Oh,
exactly.
they're taking their slant and whatever. And you know what?
Right. Anyhow, like I said, they're not forcing anybody. Sorry. Again, yes, they are, because they're like, hey, look, we're underpaid and overworked. You know what I mean? So we got to do something about it. You know what I
We'll
mean?
watch your thing, and when we come back, when you come back after watching it, I've got some things to say about this. But go ahead, please, by all means.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's a little video.
This morning with a Fox 5 News alert. Thousands of dock workers are on strike, causing ports across the U.S. to close.
Yeah, in total, 36 ports shutting down, including the Port of Baltimore. Melanie Allenwick is there right now live, and she appears to be telling us since this morning that it's been heating up there, and it hasn't been a pleasant sight for many folks, especially the drivers coming in.
That's right. So for some people, I think it might have been a bit of a surprise. However, this has been in the news that it could be happening for a few weeks now. So you can see the picket lines behind me here. And this is the main entrance to the Port of Baltimore, the Dundalk Terminal. And you'll see they're walking around the picket lines in circles. Now, Baltimore police were here earlier reminding the picketers that they cannot block the entrance to the port. The longshoremen walked off the job at 12:01 a.m. There was confusion and anger as picketers initially tried to stop trucks from entering, and it did turn violent.
I come here for 7 years. I pull the trash and the debris out of here for the Port of Baltimore, and the officer told me to come back and go in there to get out of my way, and they attacked me and broke the windshield and lacerated my face. Look at it.
Now, we don't know exactly what happened. The union members said the truck hit one of the picketers as they swarmed around it. We did see an ambulance come to assist, and we know that that gentleman did speak with police officers. Again, we'll let the authorities sort out exactly what happened there. Now, 45 members of the International Longshoremen's Association, 45,000 members. That's a big difference in a number, isn't it? They have all been asking for a 77% pay increase over 6 years and a ban on automation at their ports, a threat to their jobs, they say. Now, most retailers stocked up on goods prior to the strike, but if it lasts more than a few weeks, supply chain experts say it's consumers who are going to feel the direct impact of higher prices and product shortages, especially for things like fresh fruit, coffee, and cars. The U.S. Marine Alliance, which represents the ports, said it offered 50% pay increases and an agreement to keep current limits on automation, in addition to increased contributions to the retirement plans. But apparently that was not acceptable to the union members. We don't know what the next steps are in terms of the negotiations. Now, we do want to let you know that West Coast ports do remain open. They are a different union and working under a different contract, and many supply chain leaders have rerouted some of their goods and supplies. But on the East Coast, it's going to have to be a wait-and-see situation as to how directly everyone is impacted. I want to let you
Wow.
Well, there you go, B. Let's hear what's on your mind, pal.
You know, some people might say that I'm crazy for saying things like this, but you know what? One of the worst things that ever happened for America is when the U.S. government went and they took down the organized crime rings. Because believe it or not, The organized crime rings are what was running the docks here in the United States. People don't realize this. During World War II, one of the one places that they never had to worry about something happening, whether it was some kind of sabotage or direct attacks or whatever else, was the docks. And you know why? Because they were run, and they were the people at the head of it, Charles Lucky Luciano, head of the organized syndicate and so forth. But they ran the docks, and the government knew it. They tolerated it. Was there, and things got done. Everything that went into those ports and so forth, especially for the war effort and whatever else that was there, got to where it was going, or was sent out, and it made it onto a ship or a plane or whatever, headed to where it's going. And if it meant its fate because of a Nazi torpedo or a plane crash, something like that, that was something else. And that remained in place after the war, and it remained in place for decades. And they never had something like this happen. They never had unreasonable things, people saying we want 75% wage increase over
70.
a period of 70 years. 75% wage increase over
I thought
a
it was
period
70. It's 75?
70, 75. What's the
70.
difference? That's crazy.
It's 10% a year.
70% over 7 years.
Yeah. It's 10% a year. They want 70%
Think about what
within
this is
5
going to
years.
do to the costs of things. This is going to ruin.
I know. I understand that. That's the terrible thing about it. Is
And
it's going to cost
I'm
the
gonna say-
American people and the taxpayer a shit ton of money.
like it or not, if Donald Trump this day were in the president's office, this would never have happened. Okay, all of these things always happen with these unions. Yeah, the workers are one boat, and that boat takes and drops its anchor over here. And then
Right.
the company has their boat, and they drop their anchor over here. And eventually, the anchor chains get stretched out long enough so they come along and they make an accord. Donald Trump is a man who knows above all else how to make deals and how to get people working, how to keep people working.
Well,
And-
his
and-
mindset is a businessman,
Right.
and
This
what's
never
best
have
for the
gone as far
country.
as it has.
Right. And every businessman could make a mistake, you know what I mean, or a bad deal,
Right.
But again, one of the reasons is that I like Donald Trump is he's not a politician. And he's still not a politician. He's still himself. And again, for the umpteenth time that we said it here on FFN Network, okay, does he say stupid shit? Does he stick his foot in his mouth and you slap yourself on the head and you go, man, why did you say that? They're going to tear you up about it. I understand what you meant by it, and everybody else does, but they're just going to take that little clip and they're just going to play that little clip, and that's going to be the end of it. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, as I was saying before about I know the mob running the show over on the docks, but
Well,
you know
yes.
what? The work got done, and we didn't have these stupid quibbling messes ever. It didn't happen. Everything was done. It was copacetic. Fine. No. Well, now you see what you got.
Right. And did I hear correctly that Kamala went to the border?
Yeah. This was another dog and pony puppet show. Kamala Harris finally, after almost 4 years, went down to a different area of the border, not to where all the big problems are and so forth. And she started talking and yipping and yapping and clipping and clapping about about the border security and how now that they're gonna attack and want to start deporting people and enforcing this and enforcing that. Absolute positive 180-degree flip flop turn of all of these wonderful happiness and welcoming and your dreamers and welcome to the United States and here's your free money and free housing and free health care and free everything else. Now it's no, if you're here illegally, no, you're not going to benefit at all, and we're going to throw you out and deport you.
Well, I mean, I always have mixed feelings. Not when it comes to allowing people to come running through the border like crazy maniacs. And it's a tough situation. If Trump wins, it's going to be a tough situation for him because no matter what he does, it's going to come out to be that he is a Nazi or whatever because of the way that he's going to start sending people back to where they came from, and they're going to have to come into our country the right way, you know. But we'll get to that down the road a little bit, okay? For right now, we're on the longshoreman there. So the port strike chaos, an economic shockwave, and trucking crisis looms, right?
Absolutely.
So here's a video that I'm going to put up for everybody. And whoever's not here watching the show now, get it from your friends that are watching the show right now. And everybody that's watching the show right now, please like and share Politicking with Mr. B. And, of course, the way we see it right here on the FFN network. So here's the video. And it's going to explain to everyone exactly what's happening and what might happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy.
I'll shut them down throughout the world to prove that we can beat them.
This administration needs to get to the table and broker a deal right now.
So we are about 24 hours away from witnessing the largest port strike that I've seen in my history. 45,000 dock workers, more than 36 ports across the East Coast and Gulf Coast, and negotiations look like they're still at a standstill. So I thought it would be a really good idea to try and break down what's going on, what are their demands, and what we can expect in the trucking industry as a fallout from this potential strike. So let's get into it. So I heard in detail the 17-minute interview with Harold J. Daggett. Now, who is he? He is the president of the ILA, the International Longshoremen Association. And I've kind of taken snippets on the why the need for the strike and what is it that he's trying to achieve. So let's get into the why.
MSC is the richest shipping company in the world, made 3 times the money than Amazon. A lot of money, right? Billions. I've been fighting automation for years. They destroyed LA. They put a fully automated terminal at the Maersk line. 800 longshoremen lost their jobs. If it was up to them, they would like to see everybody lose their jobs. Let me tell you, it's not just in the longshore. They got ships in Europe that they're building. They got one now, runs on a battery, container ship, no crew. Somebody in an office building runs it. Goes out, goes in. They don't want anybody. They don't want to pay anybody. It's not only this union, it's in every union in every aspect. If they keep putting machinery to take our jobs, who's gonna pay the income tax? Machines are not. Who's gonna pay for the military, the roads, everything? Runs by taxes. Someone has to get into Congress and say, whoa, time out. This world is going too fast for us. Machines got to stop. Yes, we're getting smart kids out of MIT and all these places. Yeah, they're all brilliant. But what good is it if you're going to put people out of work? Who's going to support their families? Machines? Machines don't have families. You got to draw the line. These companies that work in the maritime business come from overseas. Not one of them belongs to America. They want to come into America and build fully automated terminals and get rid of American jobs. Good paying jobs that support families with medical, pensions, annuities, and pay taxes. They want to get rid of them. Where's the President of the United States? He's not fighting for us. He told in LA, he told the union, hurry up and get a contract. That's the mentality they have. They don't even know what the hell they're doing today. Well, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to save everybody's job when it comes to the ILA and to all the unions around the world, because we're going to fight it with that alliance. I'll shut them down throughout the world to prove that we can beat them. That's why I fight. I fight for jurisdiction. I fight for safety. I fight for these to be compensated with good salaries. These companies are making billions of dollars. They should take us along. We brought them to where they are. Now they want to get rid of us? That's not fair. Not fair at all. And this union's been around close to 200 years. So you can see why I'm always fighting.
So we need to understand the magnitude of this. 45,000 dock workers about to go on strike, crippling approximately 3 dozen ports across the East Coast. Now, what are their demands in order to go back to work? What is it that they want? Let's hear what he has to say.
The companies got smart and said, we don't want to go through another 3 months strike. Let's negotiate in good faith. Back then, the companies didn't make the money that we make today. So we negotiated in good faith. We went with 6-year contracts. And we got $1 raise, $1.50 raise for 6 years. It was great. It was a lot of money compared to 80 cents for 3 months. But today's world, it's changing into the future. They're not making millions no more. They're making billions. And they're spending it fast as they make it. I want a piece of that for my men. Because when they made their most money was during COVID. When my men had to go to work on those piers every single day, when everybody stayed home and went to work. Not my men. They died out there with the virus. We all got sick with the virus. We kept them going. From Canada to Maine to Texas, Great Lakes, Puerto Rico, now the Bahamas, everybody went to work during COVID. Nobody stayed home. Well, I want to be compensated for that. I'm not asking for the world. They know what I want. They know what I want. And if they don't, well, then I have to go into the street and we have to fight for what we rightfully deserve.
All right, so now we heard the why and we also heard the demands. So now let's hear from Chris Spear, the CEO of the American Trucking Association, and see what he thinks about where things are going with the strike.
Thanks for having me. I think the impact, if this strike occurs next Tuesday, is going to be significant, not just on the economy, but Americans, everybody that's in need of goods each day are going to feel the impact that this is going to have. We're talking 36 ports in the East and Gulf Coast that are represented here. 5 of the top 10 in the country are going to shut down on Tuesday. We're moving 12,000 trucks daily at Port of New York, New Jersey. This is very significant, especially on farmers. We're talking nearly half of the goods exported out of our ports come from these East Coast ports. We're talking produce, poultry, cotton. This is very significant on our farmers. That produce is going to be felt first in week 1 if this were to occur. People are going to have limited choice and they're going to pay a lot more for it. So I appreciate your paying attention to this because it's coming.
Now let's hear what he has to say about who else is going to get affected by this potential strike.
Trucks are the glue in all of this. Whether you move it on truck or rail, trucks are still going to move that last mile. And we're talking, large companies, but also the medium and small companies, independent contractors, owner-operators. They're going to get hung out to dry if these ports shut. So beyond the 85,000 ILA workers, we're talking thousands of other workers that support the supply chain. It's going to take a long time after week to 2 weeks of shutdown for the economy to recover. So inflation is definitely an outcome from this.
I think we all get affected by the gasoline prices. Let's hear about what he thinks is going to happen to the gasoline prices.
I think you're going to see repercussions that are going to last. So every week is about a month, 2-3 weeks, push out into a quarter to 2 quarters. You could see this spilling well into 2025, having real repercussions. If the longer it plays out, the more impact you're going to have. So 36 ports, East Coast, Gulf Coast. This is very significant to the American economy. You can't reroute all this through the West Coast. So shutting down for terms and conditions that are completely out of reach, 70% pay increase, that's what the ILA is asking for. I think you and I would love a 70% pay increase, but that's not reality. So they need to come to the table. They need to get reasonable, and they need to get a deal.
Now, does he think that the Biden-Harris administration is going to get involved? Let's hear what he has to say.
If they're consistent, they're not going to come to the table. They haven't yet, and we're 5 days out. So this is really significant in terms of leadership. We've got a president, vice president, and an acting secretary of labor that have walked a picket line for the UAW. They are already in the pocket of big union bosses, and they've stated that. So if you're USMX representing the 36 ports, you have no incentive to come to the table if it's led by this administration, because they've already shown their cards. They're already in the pocket of labor. So there's no way that you can mediate with credibility. That's not leadership. We need it. We need it now.
And now the $1 million question. What does he think is going to happen to the economic situation because of the strike?
Well, I think week over week is how you measure this. I was involved in the Taft-Hartley in 2002 when the West Coast port shut down for nearly 2 weeks, and we measured in advance the impact that shutdown was going to have week over week. So when I say a week equals a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks equal a quarter, you could see this spill well into 2025. The ramifications, not just to the supply chain, including trucking, but the entire economy. Choice will be limited and prices are going to be higher. So that's not good news going into an election, going into the holidays. This administration needs to get to the table and broker a deal right now.
All right, so my personal thought. So I actually think that the CEO of the American Trucking Association actually held back about the effects that are going to happen in the trucking industry and what's going to happen when this strike actually goes into effect. Now, I heard that some ports, I believe it's 5 ports that are going to start as of tomorrow, which is less than 24 hours. And again, I don't think we're going to feel it right away from the first second, but I think as time goes by, meaning more and more days go by, it'll definitely be a rippling effect on our entire industry. Let's not forget that there's tens of thousands of workers right now that are doing drayage and deliveries for these ports. Now, if they don't have a job, guess what? They're going to be spilling over the van refurb and flatbed division, and they're going to be taking a lot of the work from the long haul drivers because they're going to need to do something in order to keep themselves busy. So you can definitely expect freight rates to drop significantly once this thing happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully somebody's going to help broker out a deal and we can all move on with our lives. Well, there you have it. Now you know the why, you also know the demands, and you also know the feedback of the American Trucking Association CEO. But I'd really love to hear, what are your thoughts about the situation? Let me hear your thoughts. Let me hear your comments below.
There
Okay.
we have it, folks. Thank you very much, by the way, for the use of that content.
I mean, isn't that insane?
Yeah.
I mean, everything is going to go up, right?
Yeah.
So before we get into it deeply, because I know you got stuff written down or whatever, and we're going to hit this a little bit, but stick around for the second half of the way we see it right here on the FFN network. I am one of your hosts, Blazeman. And to my right, some people's left, is my boy from Politicking with Mr. B, Mr. B himself, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll be right back after this quick song, quick commercial break, man. Check it out.
Well, I've got spare parts from my last broken heart. Somehow more than what I had to start. Yeah, I've got spare parts. I tried to fix it best I remembered it. I hope it runs when I fire it up, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be a perfect fit, 'cause I got spare parts. like lovers often do. I'll try to make it good as new, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare parts. What's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare parts.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Way We See It right here on the FFN network. I am one of your hosts, Blaze Man, and the gentleman to my right or your left from Politicking with Mr. B is the one and only Mr. B himself, ladies and gentlemen. It's my boy B.
Glad to be here.
It's me and him. We got it rolling, and we're going to keep it
Absolutely.
rolling, okay? I never met a selfless man like in this gentleman to my right, your left, ladies and gentlemen. And that's no joke.
You're
He's
too kind.
been with me through thick and thin, and has been the only one who hasn't abandoned me for childish reasons. And with that being said, B, you're my boy, and I appreciate you, and I can't wait for you to see your gift. And as soon as you get it, okay, when you have time, you got to call me so I can go through the motions with you and the idea that I have for you for the use of it.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So, but listen, the strike thing, there's two of them going on. Don't forget Boeing. Okay, Bowen's on strike.
Yeah.
Now you get the longshoremen on strike, right? Now you got a disaster, okay, down south in Florida and Georgia, okay, from Hurricane, I believe, Helen, was it?
Helen,
And
yeah.
yeah, and it's just terrible. But make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, because of this strike, when the longshoremen all the way down the east line is going to disrupt a lot. It is going to disrupt a lot. And you know what I hate about stuff like this the most, B, is the fact that the average taxpayer just takes a complete ass whooping on the whole thing, and when government comes out and number one says things like, okay, we're going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, right? So now what do you have the corporations doing, B, when they hear something like that? They'll be like, oh, that loaf of bread that went for 99 cents can now go for $1.49.
Yeah. Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that, right, B? I mean, like,
Well,
if they
it
come up,
shouldn't be
go
like
ahead.
that, but unfortunately it is. I mean, the gazinta has to work with the gazata. What goes into the hand has to equal at least what's going out of the hand. Hopefully, what goes in is larger than what goes.
I got you, buddy.
But they do tend
It's
to be a little more than just a little greedy, and for people to be demanding $15 an hour to work at McDonald's, I mean, that's just ridiculous. This is what happens when you give out participation awards. This is what happens when you raise children without without having any kind of drive or sense of going out and working without teaching them a work ethic. This is what happens when you take and you just put things in people's hands rather than having people go ahead and do things that earn something and learning the feeling of accomplishment. So now you got people that are being paid $15 an hour to to work at a
Yeah,
whatever.
but my thing, I got to jump in here, B. I
Okay,
tried to about a minute ago, but I didn't want to keep trying to interrupt you. Listen, the reason why people are asking for $15, and it's my opinion because this is the way we see it, okay, and this
of
is the
course.
way I see it right now, okay, and the reason why the $15 an hour at McDonald's and Burger King and fast food joints and all of that shit like that is because there's no fucking work in this country. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. For the past 6 months, okay, they've been like, oh, the job growth, the job growth, the job, fuck the job growth. People have been going back to work and finding other work because of COVID. And well, you're gonna sit there and you're gonna say that, oh Jesus, that's like 3 years ago or whatever and stuff
No,
like that.
no,
Yeah,
no. You're
yeah.
you're you're on exactly the right track.
Right.
There hasn't been any created jobs. All they're seeing are people returning into the workforce to the jobs that were there before. They're not creating any new jobs, and it's not helping anybody. It's not growth of the economy. It's not growth of the nation. It's just getting people back to work. But they're using these numbers, padding the list, trying to
Right.
sound like they're better than what they are.
Right. Padding the freaking numbers. Exactly. Just like they're padding Kamala's numbers. You know what I mean? Those numbers ain't real. Come on. Jesus, no primary, no nothing. Oh, we didn't do a primary because there wasn't enough fucking time. Bullshit. Of course there was enough time. If people want almighty Kamala, they would have went out and said, yeah, this is the one we want to pick. Do you know she was minus 8% when she did the first presidential debate back in 2016?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
how bad people didn't like her, man. And he still chose her to be his vice president. And you know damn
Because
well why he did. I know why
there's
he
one
did.
reason why he did it, because it's a life insurance policy.
Because she's
Because it
brown, B, and being brown has a lot to do with why he fucking picked her too. Being brown and being a woman, he should be ashamed of himself. Okay, but some people, when they want to rise the we'll say the corporate ladder, and she's like, I don't give a fuck how I get the job as long as I get the job. Would you agree with that, B?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the only thing about this woman that's not padded is probably her bra.
Right, right. I get it. I agree with that.
Okay.
So getting back to down south and Hurricane Helen.
Oh,
I don't understand why people don't bail, B. I don't understand why people don't leave. I mean, your house is literally on the water line.
well, now what happened here? What happened here in a lot of these places is the hurricane went places that they just don't go. Historically, they haven't gone in these places in over 100 years. Nobody expected a hurricane and all this rain with all this force to do what it did where it did it.
B, they're giving everybody enough time to get the hell out of where
Oh,
they are.
I know that. I know that. And maybe you don't understand why the people continue to live there.
Oh no, no, no!
Because,
I do
you
because
know,
unfortunately there's people there that can't afford to fucking move to
well, it's
go
not only
to the
that,
next town or
it
whatever.
that's their home. That's the only thing that they've known for generations.
Yeah,
That they wouldn't dream of leaving.
sorry, folks,
For
my
the
bad.
same reason people wouldn't leave Richmond.
I get that. I couldn't. I
When,
couldn't
when,
do
when,
that. I couldn't. I couldn't risk the life of anybody in my family just because of something that's materialistic and either can be rebuilt again or with the insurance money from the house. I just move out of that area and just move somewhere else. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just the way that I'm thinking. And I know that there's people. Yeah, they might own that house or that trailer or whatever the situation may be, but they just ain't got those kind of funds to just, you know what I'm saying, do something like that. They have to stay there,
And where has our government leadership been? Just now, just today, they're coming out and they're saying these things about this or whatever else. But Biden and Harris, both of them, none of them have been doing anything until today.
Right.
This happened how long ago?
And Trump was on the ground talking to people.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay? Trump was on the ground talking to people, and they shit all over him because they said the only reason why he was there for photo ops. I mean, I'm so tired of hearing that shit. Okay,
Right.
so Trump's on the ground, and they're shitting all over him, meaning the leftist media, and saying that, oh, he's there for photo ops, right? And you got Kamala and President Biden. Number one, did not even touch the ground in the area, flew a fucking helicopter over it and assessed from there. I don't know, and I apologize. I don't believe that they were on the ground talking to anybody in Georgia or Florida. I don't think so. So if you got any info on
Kamala
that,
was on the ground
that'd be
somewhere talking to somebody, but and the typical stuff came out saying that, oh, well, we're going to be here with you through all of this until however long it takes to get things rebuilt.
Yeah, they're talking.
Guarantee that you get your house rebuilt and back and blah blah blah. Where are they going to get all the money for this?
The talking points that they set in her head. So in other words, they gave her like a list of like, just I'm making numbers up. So
it's the standard boilerplate bullshit.
Right. They give her a list of 7 fucking general words to answer to a question. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I just hate the fact when she I don't even want to talk about it right now. What I want to do is remind everybody of the devastation that this hurricane has caused down there, and everything is so fucking political. It's like, sometimes I feel that they put people like in a threat. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, fucking make sure you vote fucking Democrat, or because if we get in and we find out that we lost because of fucking Georgia or whatever, then good luck, waiting for that FEMA money and all that shit like that. Right? You agree?
Absolutely.
So, all right, let's blast this video for the folks, and me and you will rip apart the Democrats like we always do.
Yeah.
All right, buddy, you ready?
Yeah.
Good evening and welcome. These are desperate hours in the storm zone tonight. Now 4 days after making landfall in Florida, the aftermath of Hurricane Helene still inflicting maximum pain on communities in North Carolina
that was
and
in
Tennessee.
Helene.
Many still cut off from power, running water, and communications. The death toll still rising. By an NBC News count, 121 people are now confirmed dead as a grim search is carried out for the many still unaccounted for. Much of the destruction centered on the city of Asheville. A Charlotte councilman volunteering in the Lake Lure Chimney Rock area, posting these horrific images, what he could only describe as a post-apocalyptic landscape. So much left unrecognizable after the region was pummeled by floods, washing homes and neighborhoods away. Families short of so many things and beginning to grow short on patience, too. George Solis is in North Carolina for us tonight. George, how is the recovery going?
Lester, recovery efforts are ongoing, certainly not making things any easier. The rain, officials telling us they have received thousands of calls, but they've prioritized 150, trying to get to those people that are elderly and medically dependent. Tonight, Hurricane Helene has moved on, but left in its wake a trail of death and destruction. Officials in North Carolina say they were blinded by Helene's sheer intensity. Homes swept away, restaurants and shops torn to pieces. Communities cut off from clean water and electricity, leaving residents nowhere to go.
Shelters are at capacity. Those shelters only provide overnight lodging, food, and water. FEMA is not at these locations. This is basic necessities only.
Asheville, among the hardest hit, tonight remains largely cut off from relief, frustrating residents.
Nobody's going to help us. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do.
Do you have any faith in the federal response here?
No.
Ricky and Devonna Brown's auto shop has been in this location for 30 years.
It's just devastating. I mean, it's just hard to see it. I mean, it's just hard to come and look at. You know what I mean? This is your whole life. right here, and it's this old building to somebody, but to us, this is our life.
Drop-off of communication has left relatives of missing locals pleading with officials for information on their loved ones.
What do you say to the residents who feel that the
Did you want to say something, B?
No, I was hearing something in the background. Didn't know if it needed to be muted.
No, it's not me, B. I'm all set there.
All right.
the local and federal response wasn't fast enough following this storm?
So first, people are working around the clock. What we want to tell people is that more help is on the way and the help is continuing.
In North Carolina, every single county has been impacted. The western part of the state by catastrophic flooding, the eastern half by heavy rains and tornadoes.
Look at that, B. That's incredible.
The entire state is one big giant disaster area.
Yeah, it's a giant swamp now. Okay, because let's be honest. Oh, sorry, I'm not even here. There we are. So let's be honest here, B. I mean, a lot of this property is built on swamp water. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, North Carolina does have its hills and it does have its valleys, but and there are swamps, yeah, and so forth. But there is upland as well in higher ground. But the one thing, saving all else, is that no matter where you are, it has been ravaged by this disaster.
Absolutely. Let's continue.
Do you have the manpower right now to handle this response?
So this is a multi-federal agency response, which is why we're bringing in people from across the federal government.
FEMA says they'll deploy 1,200 first responders to the state to support relief efforts. Relief that can't come soon enough for...
Go ahead, B.
No, okay. That answer just tells you, he asked a question, do you have the resources necessary to do this? And rather than saying yes or no, just, well, we're bringing in people from it's a multi this that. That's an answer. No, I don't have the resources. We need resources.
Not right now. Yeah, we're working on it. You know what I mean? But no, as of right now,
days into this problem, have there been that people have been standing around with their thumb up their butt, doing nothing but pointing fingers and saying, "I think we should do something."
Well, let's take
if you think what the failures that happened with the Secret Service with trying to protect Donald Trump was an isolated incident, you're seeing right now. You're seeing what happens when people like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris run the country. Inept, stupid, moronic, poor decision making.
See, that's a perfect example. Y'all see me did this, right? Because it's just another thing like Trump, and my boy B's the same way. That's why I love him. You know, just sticks that foot in the mouth, and that's it. Yeah. All right, B, let's get some more going.
Power right now to handle this response.
So this is a multi-federal agency response, which is why we're bringing in people from across the federal government.
FEMA says they'll deploy 1,200 first responders to the state to support relief efforts. Relief that can't come soon enough for towns like Boone, 2 hours north of Asheville, where mudslides rip through neighborhoods. 100 miles south, the river in Henderson County reached 30 feet.
Oh my God.
Smashing all previous flood records. Rivers and lakes jam with debris. Back in Asheville, residents don't know where to even begin.
It's a lot of work. Destroyed a lot of things that I loved, of course, and my business and my job and my livelihood and all that. So, you know, I don't know.
And George, what is the status of the communications right now in Asheville?
Lester, conditions are only slowly starting to improve. There is better service here, and word tonight from the White House that the president will be in North Carolina on Wednesday. Lester?
All right, George Solis, thank you. In neighboring Tennessee, an agonizing wait for so many who have yet to hear from missing loved ones, and harrowing stories of those who made it to safety and those who did not. Priscilla Thompson is there. Priscilla, what challenges are crews facing now in this search effort?
Well, Lester, the challenge here is massive debris piles like this one as the search for the missing intensifies.
Tonight, the floodwaters in Tennessee have receded, but the pain is still flowing for some families.
They are just desperate to find out where she is, if she's been found. They just want news.
Rosa Andrade and Monica Hernandez Corona are among the 150 people still unaccounted for in Tennessee, officials say, after 3 agonizing days. Authorities say more than 100 responders are scouring debris, as today efforts shifted from rescues to recovery. They confirm only 3 storm-related deaths in the state so far.
They used everything they had to save life that day. Some were saved. We're still searching for some. We all have hopes that we will find some more alive.
Relatives say Rosa and Monica were working at Impact Plastics factory when the water began to rise, and that they got into the back of a semi-truck trying to escape. A man who says he was also on that truck posted this video online, showing water rushing by as cars and yellow pipes floated away.
Their family members were in the back of an 18-wheeler holding onto pipes, calling 911 for help, and that help didn't come.
In a statement, Impact Plastics says when the parking lot and service road began to flood, employees were dismissed, but that some remained, boarding a neighboring company's truck as the flooding intensified. That truck tipped over, Impact Plastics says. 5 people were rescued by helicopter, but 6 others were never found. We are devastated by the tragic loss of great employees, the company wrote. Loss made all the more painful by the wait for answers.
They are really grieving, and all that they really want is closure. They just want closure for their families.
Priscilla Thompson, NBC News, Irwin, Tennessee.
This disaster is already having an impact on the presidential campaign, with former President Trump on the ground in the storm zone in Georgia, while Vice President Harris just spoke at FEMA headquarters in Washington. Garrett Hake now has that part of the story for us.
I can't wait
Tonight,
to fucking
former
hear
President
this.
Trump visiting the storm zone in Valdosta, Georgia, coming with Franklin Graham's aid group, bringing trucks loaded with supplies and fuel.
We're here today to stand in complete solidarity with the people of Georgia.
And hammering Vice President Harris for not being there herself.
Of course, the Vice President, she's out someplace campaigning, looking for money.
The quality of the federal storm response could have a major political impact on the Vice President, who's hoping to repeat President Biden's narrow 2020 Georgia win. Harris was briefed aboard Air Force Two, cutting campaigning short in Las Vegas to return to Washington, meeting with FEMA officials tonight.
We will do everything in our power.
2020 Georgia win.
All right, so I have to
Harris
do this.
was briefed aboard Air Force.
Okay. Now, B,
Yeah.
she was being briefed, right?
Yeah.
She's got the little headphone in her ear,
Oh, sure.
right? B,
Yeah.
it's not plugged into the phone.
I have no idea where it is.
No, it's not, B. I'm
into.
telling you to look at the damn photo, the pause video. It's not plugged into the phone. So again, more bullshit lies from the media. How she ain't being briefed by nobody. The goddamn thing ain't plugged into the phone. You see it?
I don't see the phone.
It's right there on the desk. Anyhow, it's not
Okay.
plugged into the phone.
All right.
So who's briefing her?
Don't know.
Exactly. More bullshit.
Force Two, cutting campaigning short in Las Vegas to return to Washington, meeting with FEMA officials tonight.
We will do everything in our power to help communities respond and recover. I plan to be on the ground as soon as possible, but as soon as possible without disrupting any emergency response operations.
Trump also accusing the White House and Democratic.
That's just to let everybody know that if I don't show up for another 4 days, it's because we couldn't get to certain sites that we wanted to see. So we decided that we're going to go in a fucking helicopter and just look around.
Governor in hard-hit North Carolina of, quote, going out of their way to not help people in Republican areas without providing evidence.
What was that in reference to?
Governor Kemp did call.
Just take a look.
Where's that coming from?
Biden did call
Do you have
Governor
any
Kemp
evidence for that,
yesterday.
Mr. President?
It comes as the candidates' running mates prepare to meet for the first time at tomorrow night's debate, after largely going after the person at the top of the other ticket.
They do not share about.
It's like everything is like, oh, you got any proof for that, Mr. President? You know what I mean? And he's just voicing an opinion. You know what I mean? You know, is it, just look, at all the Jesus, please get your brain together here. All the conservatives and Republicans and stuff, yeah, they'll help them, but like Trump said, they're going to help them last.
And by the way, this is something a lot of people don't know. President Trump himself started a GoFundMe thing for these people, and in less than 24 hours raised $2.1 million.
Yes, sir.
Now, it's going to be a spit in the bucket, I know, for things, but it's something. It's something tangible to help reach out to these people. Maybe it can buy more supplies. It can get some food
And why?
fresh
And
water
why?
to these people.
And why hasn't the leftist media talked about that, B? Do you have any
Because
idea?
it doesn't fit their narrative.
Right. And it doesn't favor Kamala Harris. Let's listen up, folks.
Values. Look, it's not even about policy.
Tomorrow night's debate, after largely going after the person at the top of the other ticket.
They do not share values. Look, it's not even about policies. It's about sharing our values.
Man, what a nightmare the American southern border is thanks to Kamala Harris's policies.
Tomorrow, perhaps the final candidate showdown, with Harris having accepted a late October debate, Trump saying it's too close to the election.
And as you say here in Las Vegas, I'm all in. I'm all in, even if my opponent is ready to fold. So.
And today, Trump says he hasn't offered J.D. Vance any advice ahead of tomorrow's debate, and that he plans to watch it and provide live commentary on social media. Lester?
Okay, Garrett Haig, thanks. And tomorrow night, you can watch the vice presidential debate right here. Full coverage on NBC and NBC News Now, starting at 8 Eastern. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Yeah, no, we're going to follow you, all right. So, B,
yeah.
I'm waiting for the comments, buddy.
No, I mean, why are we even giving any consideration to Tampon Timmy?
Why are we?
Why are we giving any consideration at all to Tampon Timmy? He's got nothing to do with this. He hasn't done a damn thing about having to do with what's going on, the disasters or whatever else. He wants to be vice president. He hasn't said word one about what's going on down there or what they're doing or what they're going to try to do to make things better for these people or help them out.
I agree. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pop up some of the commentary that's going on right now for the live debate.
But we'll see if the moderators do what they say they're going to do and allow.
Well, B, I figured that we would show a little bit what's going on, maybe put our 2 cents in real quick before the end of the show.
Yeah.
Each other to fact check, then you could possibly have that kind of moment.
All right, just lastly and briefly to you two, we're 34 days away. We're in October. Are the American people paying attention yet? Or should I rephrase? Are the American people, are the voters that the campaigns need to attract paying attention? Because you can make the argument that if you're voting for Harris, you already know you're voting for Harris. Same with Trump here. Sherry, your thoughts on that question? Are there any persuadable voters left?
Yeah, apparently there are if you listen to these pollsters. But most people have their minds made up right now. There is a small slice of the American public in the 7 swing district or 7 swing states. You've got components of those 7 swing states where you've got a few undecided voters. So there is a really, really small number of people that need to be persuaded still. And my guess is they'll start paying attention here a week or two out from November 5th when they go to the polls.
Okay. Doug, do you think that's the case? We're still too early, or are people paying attention?
We're hardened in pretty good, but I agree with Sherry. There's probably a 3 to 5% margin, depending on these states, that there could be. But I think it's gonna come down to something different. I think it's actually gonna be more than that. I think it could be in those last 2 weeks. You're gonna say, how do I feel about this election? And you had a 1980 election that looked like that, and you had a 1992 election that looked like that. They're gonna come to the point to say, who do I feel most comfortable with, and do I want to change?
All right, Doug Collins, Sherry Bustos, as always, good to see you guys. We'll talk soon.
All right, thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
All right, in the meantime here, let's take it another quick commercial break. More analysis, more expert reportage coming in. We're getting Fox 5 DC reporter Tom Fitzgerald ready. He's going to join me to talk about some of the particularities about this debate that's happening in just about 15 minutes. We'll see you in 2 minutes.
Well, if they're going to be taking a commercial break, Mr. Blazeman, what are your thoughts about?
I'm sorry. Let me take it down.
Okay. I was say, what are your thoughts about what's going to go on tonight? Do you really think that there's going to be anything of any substance?
Okay, B, can I interrupt you just for a sec, please? Because you're talking to me, and I have live video going on, so I can't understand the word you're saying. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
No, you didn't know. This is why I'm letting you know now. All right. Let me see what I got this like that, and okay, B, what's on your mind, buddy?
No, I was just going to say, what are your thoughts? Is there actually going to be anything of any true substance to come out of this tonight?
As far as what, B?
As far as whether or not there's going to be anything that's going to be.
Are we talking about the debate, B, or are we
about the debate tonight?
Yes, sir. All right. So
is
you're
there going to be
saying
anything
that
we're going to be able to sink our teeth into as to let's say you and I are both undecided people.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that there's going to be anything substantive to come out that would cause us to make up our decision?
Yes. For me, I would say yes, because of the simple fact is that one of them could be the next president of the United States.
So you think that they're actually going to do something that would be noteworthy enough for us to take notice?
Oh, Trump will definitely have fucking JD Vance earning his money. There's no doubt about that.
No, I'm not asking what they're going to do. I'm asking tonight in the debate. Do you think something's going to happen tonight in the debate that would cause us?
It could switch me. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
You know what I mean? It could. You know, I'm not saying it's gonna. I don't give a fuck how bad it is. But I'm answering your question like, I'm being honest with you. Yeah.
Right.
I think a presidential debate is important, right?
Yeah, I mean, but to me, we've got two people. We've got Tampon Timmy versus a bag of drywall mud. I don't like either of them. I really don't. Vance, yeah, okay, fine. You know, he does this. He's in politics and whatnot, and he's been in the military. Fine, great, fantastic. He just does nothing for me. I am completely unimpressed.
Really? I think he's sharp as a tack, man. I think he's right on point with everybody. He doesn't hold back. He doesn't hold back.
You can be sharp as a tack. The problem is broken glass is
he's lost. He's lost a few interviews with the leftist media from Nightline or whatever and shit like that because they know that he's gonna if you're gonna come at him, he's gonna come right back at you. I think he's a strong dude. He hasn't been in office for a very long time, and quite frankly, any of these fucking people that are trying to run or part of any administration, except for Biden, the rest of them fucking have shit as far as, being in politics for years and years and years. You understand?
Yeah.
So it seems that kind of shit is out the window now because back in the day, I want to say about maybe 10 years, 15 years ago, it was, you was actually voting for, somebody that, you listened to all their policies. Now it's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
You go one that's like this and it's got listening devices in their ear, and then you got Trump where, people don't understand these fact checkers. I don't know why these fact checkers don't go on fucking TikTok and put it in, because there's at least that I've seen, like about 6 videos of showing, people, cooking on the sidewalk. What's being cooked? I don't know, but I can't see anybody, if you could afford to get some hot dogs or whatever, you might fucking have I don't know, man. But why are people just cooking shit on the streets, And then you hear, people that have come by, and the person that's doing the YouTube channel would ask the person, and some people are like, oh, yeah, that's a cat. They just got done eating a cat or whatever and shit like that. And that's what Trump referring to.
Yeah.
But he shouldn't have. You know what I mean? That's just stuff like, if you and I see it on TikTok, and then I see another one, it's like, wow, this is fucking disgusting or whatever. I don't know. I think maybe I would have brought it up during the debate too, B. I think I would have. How about you? You think you would have stirred away from it?
I definitely would be, for one reason, because out there, and I believe I had spread it around. I published it. There is a video that there was something that happened down south. I believe it was down in Florida somewhere down south, that some, what do you want to call them? Undocumented. I'm just going to call them illegals. Some freaking illegals stole a horse or one or two horses out of someone's barn and brought them into a field and butchered them
for the meat. Exactly.
And
when
someone says, oh, well, it has nothing to do with what Trump was talking about because this happened 2 years ago. Well, that just proves that this has been going on for 2 years and the media has been covering it up.
Right. That could be it too, B. You're absolutely right, my brother.
Oh, I know I'm right.
That could be it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just it's how would you put it? It's like a local matter, But I think, B, if we get some interns and they can research some videos from the local media, then maybe we might be able to find something about how many more.
You're going to find that there's an awful lot of this that's been going on, and people are passing it off. Oh, well, it probably got run over by a car. It probably got eaten by another animal. Blah blah blah, yada yada, whatever else. And if someone picks up the telephone and calls the police, help me, my family pet is missing. I don't know what are the police going to do? They're trying to chase down rapists. They're trying to chase down burglars, and
right.
all of these other crimes. They can't go investigate poor little Tippy being missing or whatever else. So this is stuff that it goes by the wayside, gets swept under the rug. Gee, it's terrible. So sorry for you, Mr. and Mrs. Smithers. I'm sorry you lost your pet, but tough shit. We can't help you.
Right. It's true. It's true, B. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, bro. I can't argue.
Hey, we're coming up on the 9 o'clock hour, my friend.
We sure are, bro. We sure are. Sorry, I'm looking to my left because I'm doing work over here on this screen, so I apologize.
No, I can understand it. But yeah, I was going to say we're coming up to the 9 o'clock hour. They're going to be having this debate that's coming up, so we're probably going to take it.
B, you're not going to watch the debate, are you?
Pardon
you
me?
Seem like you could give a shit about the debate. B.
No, I definitely want to see the debate. It's whether or not my wife wants to watch the debate.
Oh, I see.
Happy wife, happy life.
I see. Well, hey, B, I can keep this up for you, and you can stay up here and watch it.
No, it's quite all right. It's
But anyhow, go ahead, B. I'll let you get it out.
I was going to say it's getting on the time to be saying so long. We've
Absolutely.
We've got another show coming up tomorrow night, and we will be reaching a little bit further down into the situation that's going on with the longshoremen. We're going to keep on with that. Also with things that are going on over between Israel, the Hamas, Palestinians, and the Houthis, and the Hezbollah.
that's getting. I mean, look, we could be looking at a Middle East war.
People don't seem to realize how many of our Navy craft
Are out there
are out there in the Arabian
already.
Sea and in the Gulf, all over the
Yep.
place, and people
And it
also
will,
don't
and
know
it
that.
was reported that our military is in ready
Yes,
in a ready status.
yeah,
In other
yeah.
words, they're shipping out
They
some.
they have been notified to make ready in all respects to ship out for, like, once again, the Persian Gulf.
Right, and once again, it just seems like when every time there's a Democrat in charge, there's always a war being started somewhere
And
somehow
escalating.
and escalating. But there's one thing that people seem to forget, and I'm going to remind everybody right now. Netanyahu said in the beginning, in the very beginning, I think, matter of fact, it was October 8th, when he said that he's wiping Hezbollah off the face of the fucking earth. That's what he said. Not in those exact words, but he said they're not going to stop until Hezbollah is diminished. And that's what they're doing. They got them out where they wanted to get them out in the first place. Some of them went to Lebanon or whatever, and they're just going to fish them out there. They're already attacking.
It has to be done. It's what
You
has to
know?
be done.
And it's like, it's so sickening. Every time when I watch the news about it, they just make, and it's always the leftist news anyways, and it's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. It's the gosh darnest truth, all right?
Yep.
And it's like the first thing they do is they report, Israel killed the top Hezbollah, lieutenant or whatever, blah, blah, blah. In the meantime, 2,000 children were crushed to death by a bomb that hit a building, bombed the Israels, and then all it is all kid pictures. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you look good and you watch good, you'll see that the pictures get repeated.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just insane. And that's enough ranting for me tonight. And I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in to The Way We See It tonight with my boy, Mr. B, and myself, Blazeman, owner and founder of the FFN network. And we'd like to thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts for tuning in to tonight's show. Don't forget to catch starting tomorrow, Wednesday, 7 to 8 p.m., Politicking with Mr. B, right here, the one and only. He's going to talk about Israel and Hezbollah tomorrow and get into more in-depth research on the longshoreman strike, which we showed you guys a pretty shocking video on how things are going to go to shit and how they can go to shit even faster than they're going to go to shit slowly. So don't forget to check out tomorrow, 7 to 8 p.m. right here on the FFN network. Go follow us on YouTube or FFN Radio Network. Follow us on Facebook or FFN Radio Network. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on X. Follow us on LinkedIn. Follow us on Kicks. Follow us on Jesus. And I still got to write that paper for you with all the platforms that we're on.
It's all right. They haven't shoveled dirt on top of my grave yet anyway, so don't worry. You got time. All right. 9 o'clock, my friend. Time for us to turn into pumpkins.
You got it, baby. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. B, you got something to say real quick?
Keep your head above water and keep your nose to the grindstone. We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. Politicking with Mr. B right here on the FFN network, ladies and gentlemen. This is Wolfman Blazeman. We're out of here.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky, and that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
You have just watched an FFN Network production.